Good morning, boys and girls. Happy last Monday of school. I hope you give it your best effort this week. You guys have done an amazing job, and I couldn't be more proud of my children. Now, just so you know, I just read this chapter and I never turned the microphone on, so I had to sing. It was an awful song, so we're going to try it again. The Gigantic Giant Goof-up by Sarah Courtauld, Chapter 20, in which Eliza makes a mistake. There was no way home. Lavender was lost. The forest was dark, and all Eliza could hear were the low, ominous mutterings coming from Bonnet, and low, ominous rumblings coming from Gertrude's belly, which only reminded her once again that there was no beanstalk and no way for them to ever get home. Then suddenly, just as she was climbing over a dozing centipede, Eliza stopped. She could hear a hideous sound. It sounded like the screams of 1,000 angry vorpals. "It's a lavender," said Eliza. "She's singing." As Eliza followed the sound, she found to her surprise that it was coming from inside a cave. In fact, it was coming from the inside of the very cave they had escaped from. "Too Big must have captured Lavender," she said to Bonnet. "We've got to rescue her." So they all crept back into the cave, past Nibbles, Too Big and Chewy, who were all thankfully still fast asleep. Too Big's snores were now so loud that the walls were shaking and several new cracks had appeared. "You're alive," Eliza said, rushing up to her sister. "I thought you had been eaten." But Lavender ignored her. She was standing outside Old Tumbledown Farm and gazing at Prince Ludwig in the middle of a romantic duet. "If a giant puts us in a stew, you'll still have me, and I'll still have you. If a giant roasts us on a fire, that fire won't make our love expire. That fire won't, if a giant throws us down a hole, I'll still love you with all my soul. If a giant cooks us in a pie, our love will blossom in that pie. If we end up in a giant's plate, well, I guess that's our fate, because you're the one for me, and I'm the one for you, even if we're in a big, fat, yummy stew. With mushrooms, thyme, and bacon too, you're the one for me, and I'm the one for you, even if we're in a stew with mushrooms, thyme, and bacon too. Sorry. "Lavender," hissed Eliza. "What happened? How were you captured?" "Captured," said Lavender. "I wasn't captured. We went for a walk, and then we came back." "Wait, what?" said Eliza. "You mean you came back here on purpose?" "Well, this is our house, isn't it?" said Lavender. Eliza gaped at her sister, speechless for a moment. It didn't occur to you that if you came back into the cave, you might get eaten, squashed, or crushed? "Well, no," said Prince Ludwig politely with a broad Ludwiggy smile on his face. "No," said Eliza. "Of course not. I mean, why would it? I mean, there are only two giants and one monumental beast in here." "Exactly," said Prince Ludwig, gazing at her with all the intelligence of a meringue. Then he frowned as he noticed that Eliza was staring at him with the same intense stare that his great Aunt Bertha sometimes gave him when he'd used the wrong fork at dinner. "Saliva," Prince Ludwig began. "There's no need to worry." "It's Eliza, not saliva," said Eliza. "Of course, this is a saliva and sonnet," agreed Prince Ludwig. "Eliza and Bonnet," growled Eliza. Indeed, there is no need to worry, for I will stay awake all night, he said. I myself will guard your extremely humble shack. It will be a test of my love for Violet. It's Lavender, said Lavender. Of course, Lavender. Now go inside, all of you, while I stand guard. This is my solemn vow. Thank you, my prince, said Lavender. So she followed the others inside, while Prince Ludwig stood by the front door to guard them. He wondered how he would spend the long, lonely hours ahead. Perhaps he would compose a love poem. Labrador, Labrador, he began. You see, said Lavender as she went down on her bed, everything's worked out perfectly. Then she wondered why her sister was staring at her like an angry gorilla. What is wrong with you? Eliza exploded. You came back here on purpose? Did your brain melt like cheese in the sun? Lavender just smiled back at her. Eliza clenched her fist. Why was her sister like this? Didn't she understand that they were trying to get home? Or was she so in love with the prince that her brain had just stopped working? Here's Lavender's normal brain, and here's Lavender's brain now. Eliza, why do you always have to worry so much? Everything's going to be fine. No, it's not. It's not going to be fine. We're all going to be eaten. But don't you see, said Lavender, this is just like a fairy tale. It's magical. Enough, said Eliza. Please, just leave me alone. But don't say another word. Not even fairy tale? Especially not fairy tale. As Lavender left the room, Eliza sighed. Finally, she could work out how they were going to get out of here. There had to be a way home, even without the beanstalk. There just had to be. But what was it? Eliza put on her thinking cap. When that didn't have any effect, she tried out her strategy hat. Finally, she put on her disaster helmet. Still nothing. And there is Eliza's hats right there. So she tried to imagine what Grandma Maud would say if she was here. Oh, don't worry about it, dear. You'll probably get eaten soon enough. Just enjoy the time you have left. Yes, that's exactly what Grandma Maud would say, which was of no use whatsoever. So Eliza tiptoed out of the house and started to draw a list of escape plans on the cave wall. As Chewy, Too Big, and Nibbles all grunted and snored in their sleep, Eliza scribbled and pasted and scribbled and pasted. Invent a time machine? Make friends with the giants so they don't eat us? Grow a lot so giants are small and easy to defeat? Find friendly dragon to help. Oh, they don't exist. And here's her list from the cave wall. And as you notice, she just keeps crossing them out as she goes. Finally, she had a plan. Number 1, panic. Number 2, get eaten. Eliza whirled around to see her sister standing there, looking particularly sheepish. I have something to tell you, Lavender said. Unless it's an amazing escape plan, I don't want to hear it, said Eliza. Actually, said Lavender, I can get us all home. You see, it's my fault that we are here. What? This was not going to be easy. Lavender knew that. Why don't I explain everything with a song? She said nervously. Please don't, said Eliza, but Lavender had already begun. One day I found a little snail. This is quite an unusual tale. The creature was magic snail. It even had a magic trail. And with the snail I will cast a spell. Because I thought all will be well. If I can't find myself a prince. Lavender, Eliza said. Shh, you'll wake up the giants. Too Big, and Nibbles. Just tell me in plain, simple words. No singing, please. So Lavender took a wooden box out of her pocket, opened it up, and told Eliza everything. She told her about Sybil and about the three magic wishes and how her first wish had come true. So you see, I still have two wishes left, Lavender said. I can take us all home. I was just distracted before because of Prince Ludwig with his perfect face and his perfect ears and his perfect chin and his perfect eyebrows and his perfect elbows and enough. Anyways, he seemed quite perfect. Only he kept calling me Labrador, but I still thought he was my one true love until he offered to keep us all safe by standing guard. And, well, Eliza followed Lavender's gaze as she looked over to Old Tumbledown Farm. Outside it, she could see Prince Ludwig fast asleep, face down on the ground. Nearby, trembling from head to foot, there was someone standing guard. It happened to be Bonnet. So I thought, said Lavender, perhaps Prince Ludwig isn't my true love after all. And perhaps snails aren't always a girl's best friend. And why are you looking at me like that? Sorry, Lavender, but you really expect me to believe there's a snail's magic that brought us here? Said Eliza, plucking the snail out of the small wooden box. Yes, said Lavender. It's the holy snail. Oh, really? Said Eliza. Yes, said Lavender. The holy snail, said Eliza. That is correct, said Sybil. I am the holy snail. Please be careful with me. I may be magical, but my shell is still quite fragile. Eliza blinked. She looked down at the snail. The snail looked back up at her. It's all perfectly true, Sybil went on. Lavender said the magic words, I wish, then I simply made it all come true. But, 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 no, Eliza's mind was boggling. Her brain was bending. Her world was wiggling. So you're saying, Lavender, that you planned all of this? Well, sort of, said Lavender. And you didn't tell me? Yeah, said Lavender. But we could have been eaten alive? Or squashed? Yeah, or just accidentally sat on? True. Seriously, did your brain shrink to the size of a pea? Did you not think at all? Or have you swapped brains with a pigeon? I don't think so, said Lavender. Although, if you were a pigeon, said Eliza, you wouldn't be able to do crazy things like this. You know what? I wish you were a pigeon. That would make my life a whole lot easier. Eliza breathed out. She felt a little better. Well, she said, don't you have anything to say for yourself, Lavender? She looked around. How did her sister always manage to disappear at precisely the wrong moment? So that's it, Eliza said. Very grown up of you. You're not going to apologize. You're just going to hide. Not much point talking to her now, said a small, calm voice. What? Said Eliza, looking down at the snail in her hands. Not much point talking to her now, said Sybil cheerfully. Oh, by the way, your wish has been granted. One more to go. Wish? What wish? What do you mean, one more to go? The snail shrugged and smiled. Look up, she said, before shrinking back into her shell. What are you talking about? Said Eliza, and she looked up. Boys and girls, what do you think happened to Lavender? Oh, no. No, no, no. For sitting on top of old Tumbledown Farm was something that was definitely hadn't been there before. An enormous gray pigeon. Lavender? They had two more wishes, and she blurted out of her mouth that she wanted her sister to become a pigeon. What's to happen to them now? All right, I will see you for the next reading. You guys, it's Monday. One more week. Summer vacation. I miss you.